The first time she saw him, her heart clenched in confusion. He smiled at her like he already knew every secret she tried so desperately to hide. Her instincts told her to run, to push him away before he saw the cracks she had spent years hiding behind laughter. Yet, there was something about the warmth in his eyes that felt like sunlight through a storm. She had convinced herself that love was dangerous, a trap that left only scars. Every time someone got close, she withdrew deeper into her carefully built walls. He didn't just see her, he understood her silence, the hesitations, the subtle tremor in her voice when she pretended to be fine. That kind of understanding was rare, almost terrifying, and she hated how much it stirred feelings she wasn't ready for. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. He stayed, patient and unyielding, refusing to leave even when every part of her screamed to push him away. Her name was Layla, a woman of fierce independence and hidden vulnerability. Life had not been kind, heartbreaks had carved lessons into her soul. She had learned to shield her heart, to tell herself that needing someone was a weakness. He, on the other hand, was Arav, a man whose life had been filled with quiet hardships but who chose to meet the world with kindness. Their meeting had been accidental, yet electric, two people colliding like opposing forces, neither willing to back down. She avoided him at first, laughed at his jokes without meaning it, and dismissed his gestures as casual friendship. He noticed, of course, but he never retaliated or pressed. His approach was subtle, gentle, a relentless patience that unsettled her and made her question her own defenses. Every interaction became a dance of push and pull, a test of wills that neither wanted to admit. She was terrified of the feelings blooming inside her, feelings that she couldn't control. Arav refused to take her coldness personally, because he had seen the cracks beneath the surface. He noticed the way her eyes softened when she thought no one was watching. He remembered the little things she let slip, her favorite song, the book she reread every summer, the way she always stirred her tea 3 times. He treasured these details quietly, never using them to manipulate or pressure her. He simply wanted her to feel safe enough to let someone in. His love was not loud or demanding, it was quiet, persistent, a constant presence she could not ignore. She started to feel guilt, anger, and confusion in equal measure. Why did this man refuse to leave? Why did he insist on being there when all she wanted was solitude? And yet, every time she tried to distance herself, he found a way to remind her that she was not alone. She had tried to push him away after that first date. Not because he had done anything wrong, but because she was terrified of letting herself feel again. She had been hurt before, deeply, and the scars were still fresh. Arav's calm smile in response to her cold shoulder made her more frustrated than she cared to admit. He never argued, never begged, just kept showing up, like a lighthouse in a relentless storm. Slowly, without realizing it, Layla began to notice that his presence brought a strange comfort. She noticed how he laughed at her dry humor, how he listened without interrupting, how he remembered details she had casually mentioned months ago. She was starting to understand that maybe love wasn't about avoiding pain, it was about trusting someone enough to let them in despite it. And Arav was proving himself trustworthy in a way she had never experienced. One rainy evening, she broke down unexpectedly in the middle of the street, memories of past betrayals flooding her mind. She tried to mask her tears, but Arav was already by her side. Umbrella in hand, eyes full of concern. She wanted to push him away, to tell him to leave, to remind him that she didn't need anyone. Instead, she let herself cry, leaning on his shoulder as if the world had finally lifted its weight. He didn't ask questions, didn't demand explanations, simply held her in silence. That night, something shifted within Layla. She realized that vulnerability wasn't weakness, it was courage. And for the first time in years, she allowed herself to hope again. Hope that love could exist without betrayal, without fear, without the constant need to protect herself. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Layla's walls gradually crumbled, piece by piece, each dismantled by Arav's quiet determination. She started sharing small parts of herself, little confessions that felt monumental in their honesty. He listened, never judging, never rushing her, treating her heart as if it were a delicate treasure. The more she let him in, the more she realized how much she had been missing in life. His laughter became a melody she couldn't ignore, his touch a reassurance she hadn't known she needed. Slowly, love replaced fear, and trust replaced doubt. She realized that trying to push him away had only strengthened his resolve to stay. His love was relentless, unwavering, and entirely genuine. But life had its own obstacles. Arav received a job offer in another city, an opportunity he had worked years for. The timing was cruel, testing the bond they had nurtured. Lila's fear surged back. If he left, she might lose him forever. The thought of being without him made her heart ache in ways she hadn't anticipated. She wanted to tell him to stay, but pride and fear tangled her words into silence. He noticed, of course, sensing the turmoil behind her stoic mask. One evening, under the same streetlight where she had cried months ago, he took her hand and whispered, "No matter where I am, my heart stays with you. You don't have to chase me, I'm already yours." That moment broke something inside her, a dam of emotion she could no longer contain. Layla had never believed in fairy tales or perfect endings, but with Arav, reality felt just as magical. They spent long nights talking about dreams, fears, and everything in between. Every conversation built a bridge between their souls, connecting parts of themselves they had kept hidden from the world. He never rushed her, never forced her to reveal herself faster than she was ready. His love was patient, like a river that carves canyons over time, gentle but unstoppable. She began to understand that love wasn't a sudden spark, it was a slow, deliberate dance, a shared journey of vulnerability and trust. Arav had taught her that sometimes, love wasn't about fighting feelings, it was about surrendering to them. Challenges continued to test their bond. Friends warned her about moving too fast, whispers of caution and past mistakes shadowing their happiness. Layla felt the pressure, the fear of making the wrong choice, of letting history repeat itself. She doubted her own heart, questioning whether she deserved someone like Arav. But he never let her falter alone. He reminded her with small gestures, a hand on her back, a note tucked into her bag, a quiet, "I believe in you," when she felt undeserving. Slowly, she learned to trust herself, to trust their connection. Love, she realized, was not blind, it was seeing all the flaws, all the fears, and choosing to stay anyway. One rainy afternoon, a misunderstanding threatened to unravel everything they had built. Words were spoken in haste, emotions flared, and silence stretched between them like an unbreachable wall. Layla wanted to run, to retreat into her protective shell, but Arav refused to let the silence win. He followed her to her favorite park, rain soaking them both, and without words, held her close. Tears blurred her vision as he whispered truths she had known but forgotten. "I'm not leaving. I will never leave. You don't have to be afraid." That moment, raw and unfiltered, reinforced the depth of their bond. It was not perfect love, but it was real, and that made it stronger than anything else. Months later, Layla faced a personal crisis, a health scare that left her feeling fragile and afraid. Arav became her rock, never leaving her side, managing fears she couldn't articulate. She felt moments of panic and hopelessness, but his presence grounded her. Every checkup, every quiet evening at home, he reminded her that love was not just passion, it was commitment, resilience, and unwavering support. She realized that his love had prepared her to face her own fears, to stand strong even when life threatened to knock her down. In the depths of her struggle, she discovered strength she didn't know existed, fueled by his unwavering presence. As seasons changed, their love deepened, evolving into something richer and more profound than either had imagined. They shared small victories, quiet evenings, and endless laughter that stitched memories into their souls. Layla no longer feared attachment, she cherished it. Arav no longer worried about rejection, he had found a partner willing to walk beside him. Together, they learned that love wasn't always grand gestures, it was also holding hands during uncertainty, sharing silences comfortably, and forgiving each other for human imperfections. Their relationship became a sanctuary, a safe space where both could truly be themselves. The world continued to challenge them, yet they faced each obstacle together. Friends and family began to notice the transformation in Layla, the way her eyes shone, the way her laughter rang freely. She was no longer the woman who pushed people away, she had found courage to love openly, to trust fully. Arav's steadfast devotion had become a mirror, reflecting the strength and beauty she had long hidden. Their love story was no longer a fragile spark but a steady flame, resilient against any storm. Every trial, every fear confronted, only cemented their bond deeper into their hearts. One evening, Arav planned a surprise, a quiet rooftop dinner overlooking the city skyline, fairy lights twinkling like distant stars. Layla felt a familiar flutter of nerves and excitement, unsure what he had in mind. He looked at her with that same warmth, that same relentless affection, and whispered, "You never pushed me away completely. You let me stay, and I'll stay forever." Tears filled her eyes, joy mingling with disbelief that someone could love so deeply. She realized that love had not just entered her life, it had healed her, reshaped her, and given her hope she had thought was lost forever. Months turned into years, and they built a life rooted in trust, patience, and unwavering devotion. Challenges arose, as they always do, but nothing could shake the foundation they had nurtured together. Layla learned that true love was not about perfection, but about choosing each other every day, in every circumstance. Arav never stopped showing her that his heart belonged entirely to her, in gestures both grand and small. She no longer feared vulnerability because she had experienced a love that made it safe to be human. Their journey was not without struggle, but it was filled with authenticity, resilience, and unwavering connection. They shared quiet mornings over coffee, spontaneous road trips, and endless conversations that stretched into dawn. Layla discovered the joy of simple moments, the beauty in routine when shared with someone who truly understood her. Arav found satisfaction in supporting her dreams, celebrating victories both big and small. Together, they built a life rich in love, laughter, and unspoken understanding. Every challenge overcome became a testament to their resilience. Every moment of closeness became a memory etched forever into their hearts. Their love story became one not just of passion, but of companionship, trust, and unwavering commitment. One night, under a sky blanketed with stars, Arav finally asked the question that had lingered in both their hearts. Layla's heart raced, and she realized that this was the culmination of every fear faced, every wall broken, every tear shed. With hands trembling but hearts aligned, they promised forever to each other. It was a promise born not out of fantasy, but of real struggle, relentless patience, and enduring devotion. She understood that his love had not just persisted, it had transformed her. She had tried to push him away, yet in the end, it was his unwavering heart that guided her to her own. Years later, looking back at their journey, Layla often marveled at the relentless nature of love. It had tested them, shaped them, and ultimately healed them. She had learned that love was not about giving in to fear, but about embracing trust, courage, and vulnerability. Arav had taught her the meaning of patience, of unconditional support, and of relentless devotion. They had faced the storms, the doubts, and the insecurities, emerging stronger and more connected than ever. Their love had become a sanctuary, a beacon of hope for anyone who believed that hearts could heal and bonds could endure. Their story became one whispered among friends, an example of love that refused to surrender. It was a love that inspired, that moved hearts, that showed the beauty in staying despite fear, and the strength in choosing each other repeatedly. Layla no longer feared love, she celebrated it, cherished it, and nurtured it daily. Arav's persistence had become their foundation, a reminder that true love is patient, kind, and unwavering. They lived not just for moments of passion, but for the quiet, profound connection that made every hardship worthwhile. Their hearts were entwined, their souls aligned, and their love, relentless, stood as a testament to the power of unwavering devotion. As the sun set on their life together, they sat hand in hand, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. Layla whispered a simple truth: "I tried to push you away, but you never gave up." Arav smiled, eyes full of the same warmth that had captured her heart years ago, and replied, "And I never will." Their love had survived fear, doubt, distance, and pain, proving that some hearts are meant to fight for each other relentlessly. And in that moment, they knew, without question, that their story was one for the ages, a story of courage, patience, and the kind of love that never lets go. It was a love that taught them both the meaning of home, trust, and unyielding devotion, forever etched into their hearts.